I'm just gonna get out of the way so I can get on with the rest of the review. Deadpool. No. And continuing my reviews of the X-Men movies leading up to Dark Phoenix, now we get to the movie that most people can agree is the worst of the X-Men movies, and that is X-Men Origins Wolverine. Before I go on, don't forget to smash that like button, smash that share button, and if you're new here, smash that subscribe button so you can watch more reviews like this one, and give a little tap to the gray bell icon for notifications on my latest uploads. Back to the review. X-Men Origins Wolverine is the fourth installment of the X-Men franchise, and this explores the backstory of the most popular X-Men character, Wolverine. Now, so far in the X-Men movies, I have the unpopular opinion that I didn't like the first two X-Men movies, but yeah, I thought The Last Stand was actually pretty good. But I do agree with most people that X-Men Origins Wolverine is the worst of the X-Men movies. Like, holy shit, this was a mess. Now, I will say there are some good things about this movie, like Hugh Jackman is once again great as Wolverine, and honestly I feel like Sabretooth is much more of a character in this film than he was in the first X-Men movie. Now, granted, there's this weird thing where like Wolverine and Sabretooth are brothers in this movie, even though they never once mentioned that in the first X-Men film. That's very confusing, but this overall I feel like is a better version of Sabretooth than the one we got in X-Men. Yeah. And Taylor Kitsch is pretty good as Gambit, for what little we see of him. Yeah, overall this is a film that was just a bunch of wasted potential. I don't think it's terrible bad, because of those good things I just said earlier, but it still sucks. For one, the visual effects are a bit inconsistent. Sometimes the effects are pretty cool, and sometimes they're not. The plot is overall a jumbled mess, like when it comes to, like, Cyclops or whatever, and it's like, wait, why is he in this movie? And there's also this really uninteresting romance between Logan and this one woman who I completely forget her name, probably because she never left that big of an impact. And this movie has to shove in so many mutants, even when the plot doesn't really need them. Like, for one, like I said before, Gambit. I like Gambit, but what's he doing in this movie? He's pretty cool, but again, he has nothing really to do in this movie. It's like, why? Now, if it was like a background character, like sometimes we see in the X-Men movies, like, you know, you'll sometimes see like a little mutant kid or something, and it's like, ooh, it's this person. But they're like in the background. Okay, that's fine, but a lot of mutants like Cyclops and Gambit in this film do have a presence in the film where they're completely noticeable, and it's more than just a background character, but they still serve no purpose to the story, and it just takes up screen time. Oh yeah, the Blob's in this movie. I don't know what the Blob is like in the comics. I'll probably put a picture right here. I don't really know what to say here other than this Blob is just, he's just kind of ridiculous. And for some reason, Wolverine and the Blob just sort of box. Man, I'm legitimately trying to think of more things to say about X-Men Origins Wolverine. This is sort of like the Phantom Menace and Batman and Robin. Not in terms of quality, but in terms of, like, I'm trying to figure out some things to say about this movie that people haven't already said, even though I've probably already said some things that everyone's already said. Basically, X-Men Origins Wolverine sucks. Yeah, I don't recommend it. It's a really dumb movie that is very confusing at times, boring at other times, and whenever there's like an action sequence, sometimes the visual effects are pretty cool, but other times the visual effects are just ugh. And of course, Deadpool. No. No. So yeah, shockingly enough, I know it's hard to believe, but I don't like X-Men Origins Wolverine. But at least somewhere there must be a great X-Men movie. Please, it has to be somewhere. So yeah, what do you think of X-Men Origins Wolverine? Let me know in the comments below what you think. Thank you so much for watching. Give this video a like, share the video so we can get the channel circulated. Don't forget to support my Patreon on my Patreon page, or if you can't do that, then consider supporting me through my PayPal donation button in the description below. And if you want to see more, click this. Did you just call me Blob?